Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I'm Liz Quinn, your lead Scentsy consultant. So today I have for you my weekly What I Have Been Warming video, and I have a little special something that I wanted to talk about because today happens to be my birthday when I film this, not when it will be out on Wednesday. But last year, I had a lovely viewer who has become a friend send me something special, which was supposed to be an early birthday present, and it's a very long story how all of it did or didn't work, but I wanted to show you guys this absolutely beautiful print of a special piece that one of my viewers had in her home. Because I love sunflowers so much, she wanted to share that with me, and this is a copy of something that is a family keepsake, and I have wanted for quite a few months to share this with you, but I just wanted to do it today. So thank you to my friend who wants to remain anonymous. For the love of sunflowers is what this is all about, and I have sunflowers from my friend Paula, who has a farm here in Michigan that she actually grew that I have out to celebrate my birthday. So I just wanted to put all those things together and just say thank you from the bottom of my heart to my friend who sent me that amazing copy of this special painting that hangs in her home that was her mother's, and there's a long story that goes with the whole thing, but it just touches my heart, and I figured that I would do it on my birthday since it took so long to get all the pieces together for her surprise to send me that last year. So anyway, let's get into what I have been warming. And on my actual birthday today, I am doing Cider Mill, which may seem basic, but it's one of my favorite scents of all time, and Farm Stand Pumpkin. So there's not a lot to say about those except that they're good. Farm Stand Pumpkin is a really, really nice, sweet, caramely apple and pumpkin hayride kind of a smell. And then Cider Mill is just, I think, the best fall scent that Scentsy has ever made. It's apples, pumpkins, and simmering cider spices, and it is just delightful. It kind of floats around at a medium level in your home, and it's just relaxing and lovely and sweet. So let's go on into whatever I can or can't remember that I was doing about a week ago. So one of the things that I definitely want to draw your attention to is our new white pumpkin and driftwood that's currently in the Harvest collection. This is so good, you guys. I think this is the very nicest scent of the 5 as far as complexity and being very unique. So this has cardamom, it's got driftwood, it's got white pumpkin. It is a boomer. The last couple cubes of this had a tremendous amount of the cardamom scent, more than the top of the bar. I don't know why that was, and it always seems to me that those last 2 cubes at the bottom, because I do store a lot of my wax flat, but I have certain bins for things that I know I'll use up more quickly, where I'm wondering if the way that I store them being this way in long rows might make some of the oil soaks sink to the bottom of the bar. And that's why those last couple cubes are always just amazing. So this was, and I mean, it was a powerhouse. You could get that cardamom, you could get the spiciness with the earthiness with the driftwood, and it was just fabulous. I think this will probably go into my quarterly club because it's quite strong and distinctive. I don't know that I'm going to go through tons of it, as opposed to something like the Cider Mill that I just mentioned, where that is an easygoing scent I can melt anytime. The white pumpkin and driftwood is something where I'm going to feel like I'm in the mood for it, and then it'll be enough for a while. So another bar that's like that, which I have pulled from my club a while ago, is the beautiful World Traveler. I don't even know if it was me or one of my kids that was doing this, because in all honesty, I don't remember when or where this was melting, but when this bar is melting, it's got oak, it's got dark berries, it's a very, very nice August and September scent. It's good for the wintertime too. It's warm and elegant and old world, and I have 4 or 5 bars of it left, and since you only need a couple of cubes, because this is the type of bar that lasts and it really stores well. My friend Robin, I would recommend you go check out her channel. It's a Northern Lights Glow, Robin H. She did the most wonderful video just recently on curing and storing your wax, which I've never seen anyone else do, so I definitely wanted to mention that, so you go over there and watch that. But this type of a bar that has a lot of woods, it's got a lot of deep notes, even though there are fruity notes in here, because she was explaining to us as viewers and other consultants that the fruity and the floral and the citrus notes, those tend to be more effervescent, and pine specifically, she nailed that. As far as a woody note, that one tends to go away faster, especially in your first melt, or if you're storing for long periods of time, the pine bars might go off sooner than other woods type bars. Anyway, those things will go away initially at the very beginning of your melt, or if you're storing a bar, they will not be as good or they'll disappear completely if you've been storing a bar for a few years. But this type, the type of dark berries that are in here, it's not like your really sweet, juicy, fruity notes like maybe a mango or a coconut or a peach. This type of bar stores for a very long time and gets stronger with age, like she was talking about. So I don't really need more of that because a couple cubes will do me for a long time. That's what I was trying to say with all that. Now, the next day, this was a couple days ago, it got nice and chilly here in Michigan, and I did one of my favorite combinations for the week. It was the rest of this bar of Stroopwafel Delight, which gave me a little bit of trouble a couple weeks ago. I think all that was going on is that I melted it when it was too hot outside. This is so good. It's decadent, buttery Stroopwafel Pizelli cookie. Oh, you guys, it's just got this golden brown, drippy, buttery, almost bordering on caramel deliciousness that I cannot get enough of. So absolutely, Stroopwafel Delight is staying in my quarterly club for forever. And then, to go with it, I did my first bar of the whole season of caramel chestnut. It was cold enough, I've just kind of been waiting. And this is equal parts roasty toasty chestnut and gooey caramel, and it is so good. Oh my goodness, you guys, I cannot get enough of this. So these both made me very happy, and it was such a delightful day in the house. My younger daughter came out, and she could smell that it was that middle of the fall type melt for the day with the roasty, toasty, buttery, nutty, gooey bakery thing going on that just makes us all so happy. Anyway, so another day I was trying out my second bar of cashmere leaves. Now this is a beautiful scent. I would say this is my runner-up when it comes to our harvest collection. It's so nice. So it's got apple, and it has this sweet, almost bakery spice, and then a little bit of complexity from some outdoorsy leaves. It's a very interesting combination, and the sweetness is definitely there. I wonder if this bar will get better with age, like Robin was talking about. I don't know, though. It only goes for a day, and that's kind of pushing my bragging on performance with it. It's really a few hours of excellent scent, and then this one dies. So I don't know whether I will find enough room in my club for this, or I'll just get a stack of it, but it is definitely a bar I want more of. It is unique, it is gorgeous, and it's very distinctive. So if it was a really, really good performer like the White Pumpkin and Driftwood, I would absolutely be clubbing it. Just kind of arguing with myself about that. So then I had a viewer ask, I don't know what video it was on, about doing something with Hemingway, because for her it was definitely too overwhelming. It was too strong. Now, of course, I love this bar. This is a bar that you can save for years. And it is so good with the deep kind of mahogany. It's got the apple. It's definitely a juicy red delicious apple. And then it has some spice, so it almost borders on masculine cologne, and it can be quite strong and very woody. So what would you do with this if you wanted to tone it down? The first thing that I thought of is a bar that we just had this new release. I'm going to get a new one in one of my shipments this month, and thank God my harvest haul is on its way. So look for that later this week. It finally shipped it. Anyway, Midnight Mahogany all by itself has been a little bit disappointing for me. I've tried it in several places in my home. Obviously, this is my first bar, and I will get more. And this is one that should be just flat out amazing. All of the notes in it, the mahogany wood, and there's sort of like, I think, a cinnamon leaf and some plum. I should love this, but I was having a lot of trouble smelling it in my house. So I had 2 cubes of this bar left, and I had a few cubes of this rather older bar of Hemingway left, and one of my viewers said, what could I do to tone down Hemingway? And I thought, this Midnight Mahogany might be just the ticket, and I loved it together. So 1 cube to 1 cube in a warmer. This bar, it just worked. It seemed to bring some of the personality of this out so that I could smell it better, and it did just tame the strength of Hemingway. Now, it didn't change the personality enough that if you don't like woods and cologne, if you don't care for those things, this still might not be your mix. But if you just want to take what Hemingway is and tone it down a little bit, this was amazing, and I'm going to be mixing them together all fall. So I will get my next bar of Hemingway in my September bi-monthly club order, and I will get another bar of the Midnight Mahogany in one of my orders later on this month. And this will be on the channel again soon. I loved it. So good. So then, I do have a stash of Sentimental Yankee Wax. So I put in a whole clam of spiced pumpkin yesterday all around the house. And this is such an interesting bar, or a melt cube thing, whatever you want to call this, clamshell. This one old school in the little tarts from back in the day, you got all of the spices, and there's a very distinctive pumpkin and spice blend that Yankee does. Usually you'd get that right out the gate with the old-fashioned flat tarts. This one, oddly enough, smelled a little bit like oranges or mandarin spice when I first put it in the warmer, which was odd. And then over time, all that melted off, and I got that amazing smell that I remember from my childhood. It was so good. So this I was doing with some other things in the house. One of the rooms was full of maple vanilla glaze, which dies early. Like, this is a 4 or 5 hours, whacks you over the head violently with all of the sweet maple and vanilla. It smells like a coffee shop on steroids, full of gooey, like the glazed dipped donuts, which I love. Anyway, the yeast ones. This is what that smells like, and it doesn't last for a long time, but I do not care. It's in my quarterly club because, you know, how many bars of this do you need? Like 4 cubes is enough to absolutely throw people out of the house. It's so good. And then I just had a couple of other warmers where I thought, I'll use up some of my boring old vanilla bean buttercream. Well, I wasn't liking it with the spices, so I had to jazz up vanilla bean buttercream with clove and cinnamon. So these two together make a very nice creamy spice scent. Actually, if you really like sweet cream spice and you're running out of it, 2 cubes of this to 1 cube of this makes something somewhat similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's a really nice creamy frosting with spices smell, and I will be mixing these again too. It was really, really good. And I'm talking about direct, 1 cube to 1 cube. I'm talking about direct mixing with the Midnight Mahogany and the Hemingway. If I just say that I'm doing alternate warmers, you're not mixing the scents directly. They're just mixing in the air or alternate rooms. But direct mix is a cube to a cube, or in the case of that spice cream mix, it would be 2 cubes of vanilla bean buttercream to 1 of clove and cinnamon. Okay, now another day I did one more Yankee thing, which this is such a beautiful scent, you guys. This sugared cinnamon apple is sort of halfway in between honey pear cider, which is dearly departed, we can't get that anymore, and another apple-y type scent. It doesn't have all of the fruity notes of this amazing apple cherry strudel, but this is such a beautiful smell, and it's lighter and more delicate and goes very well with honey pear cider. It doesn't like overwhelm it so much that I cannot enjoy both of them in one day in the house. So this, with a little bit of cinnamon and sugar and a sweet, gentle apple cider, it's beautiful. And then honey pear cider, I have, I think, 4 clams of this left. This is a scent I want back in my club at some point. I hope we can vote it back because I miss it. And, you know, you can get it in flash sales once in a while, but that's about it. This is the most beautiful, smooth, gentle cider. If you take cider mill, bring it down a little, take out all the spice, add some honey and some pear, that's what this is, and it's an old classic, and I'm really sad that they pulled it from the catalog a while ago. And I had gotten a whole stack, like 9 or 10 bars at one point, and those are slowly dwindling down, so now I'm getting a little bit nervous because I want more honey pear cider. And something that is current catalog, and neither honey pear cider or apple cherry strudel, neither of them are terribly long lasting, so I thought I'll do them on the same day. I put this in the back room because it's a little bit stronger than the honey pear cider. And this is so good. I went and ordered another bar out of the catalog. Really good cherry with apple and flaky strudely crust. As long as you don't care that this doesn't last a terribly long time, this is a fabulous bar. And out of all the things that are in our current bakery section, it's one of the standouts for me. It's been around for several years, and other than the longevity issue, it is one of the best bakery scents Scentsy's ever produced as far as scent profile. It's fabulous. So those are all good. I've got a couple more things that I was doing in the open concept. Let's see what we got here. I have Autumn Blaze Maple, which is in my club. It's in my quarterly. This is such an amazing bar, you guys. Oh, it's just perfect for fall. It has the maple, it's got a woodiness, it's got pumpkin, it's got apple, it has sweetness. This is really good with toasted acorn and oak. I did not do those together this specific week, but that is a milk combination I really like. But this bar, I just used the whole thing and reveled in it. And I believe that what I was doing in the back room, I really can't remember, was some pumpkin cinnamon swirl. And somewhere around here, I think I threw in some of the 3 thumbs up, which you guys have been seeing for weeks. It's just one of my favorites. So, pumpkin cinnamon swirl is rich and delicious, and the pumpkin that was in the Autumn Blaze Maple, even though this was a lot more bakery because there was maple sweetness in the Autumn Blaze Maple, they were nice together. So this was in the back room. This is currently in our spice section. I would call this a bakery bar, though. It's so nice. So please get yourself some more of that. And then I've been using up a couple clams of Farm Stand Pumpkin, which I already talked about at the beginning of the video, because September is the month for me to melt this. It's just so good. So it's a medium level pumpkin. If you don't like pumpkin guts type scents, and if you don't like super spicy pumpkin scents, this might be the one that is for you. It's just so nice. Then the 3 Thumbs Up, which I think is still currently available, is sort of a nice pumpkin quick bread, a little bit more chill, not quite so pumpkin-y in your face. Just nice homey smell. It's not super sweet, it's not super spicy, it's medium level bakery that holds its own for a long time, and it's a great bar. So then, I did a lot of things in bedrooms, which kind of surprised me how many different things I melted in there, and I did a couple things in the basement. So I used up my last 3 cubes of frosted cedar in the basement. It was better down there. I'm struggling with this bar. I know that it's a new release that a lot of people are loving. I will probably get one more bar closer to Christmas and try it again, but at least this specific bar, to me, it's almost like a sweet, grassy scent that has a little bit of vanilla and apple, and I don't think that's really what Scentsy was going for. It might just be that that's how I perceive it, because many people are loving this, but I got more of the creamy vanilla and the apple when I melted it in the basement. And it was those last 3 cubes at the bottom of the clam kind of deal like I talked about earlier. So it was better, but it's still not one where I'm going to run out and want 10 more. So we'll see. So then I was also, we'll just do these now. So I did 2 things that were from my Teddy Bees haul. So Boardwalk Circus, just Boardwalk Circus. This scent was fabulous right out the gate, but it didn't last a really long time in my home. But oh my gosh, you want to talk about summer bakery, and I don't know why I was in the mood for summer. I think I was just curious because I hadn't melted this scent yet. Summer bakery on steroids. It is so buttery and bakery at the same time. So this one is supposed to have signature sugar cookies, marshmallow and magnolias, and boardwalk marshmallow clouds. So I guess that's what marshmallow and magnolias is, boardwalk marshmallow clouds, I guess. I don't know. I don't speak vendor wax real well yet, because there's a lingo for everything. When you get into candles and scent, period, there are certain things that you learn, like throw and longevity and these different terms. And then you get into vendor wax, and it goes even deeper because there are specific oils and specific vendors, and I don't even know. But this is really good. It just didn't last a long time, but wow, is it an appealing scent. So I have 2 souffles. You need just a tiny, tiny bit of this scent, and it will just all over the place. Oh, it was so good. And then I also tried Lady Laina, I think is how you say it. And this one, when I first opened this bag, when I was doing my initial cold sniffs on my very first Teddy Bees experience ever, it reminded me of Vanilla Blackberry, and it still does, except it's so much more nuanced. It isn't like it's going to choke you like Scentsy's Vanilla Blackberry will. It's not as raw as that. This is far more genteel. But it does have that blackberry and woody note, and then it's just creamy, and this was beautiful in my bedroom for a while. It was a lower level performer, but it did last pretty well. So this has vanilla birch, cashmere plum, beach treats, and a hint of Palo Santo, and it was just beautiful. I loved this. So those were both very happy, and I used Boardwalk Circus both in my basement and in my bedroom. So then what I have left is a bunch of stuff that I melted in my bedroom. Now, if you watched my last video, which the last week or so, I have just been scratching my head saying, what can I share with all of you on my channel? Because all of my hauls, I've got a whole bunch of stuff in the pipeline, are on back order almost. They're not really, but it felt like it, because Scentsy has had a logjam with shipping because September 1st there was such a huge response, and they've had a hard time keeping up with getting all of the packages out. So I made up a video about my entire collection of fall warmers, which was super fun, and you guys really enjoyed that. And then I did have a viewer who asked about new catalog, long, strong, and good performing scents. I forgot to add Palo Santo and cinnamon as a medium level, long lasting performer. It's amazing. It is one of my absolute favorites of the new fall winter releases, but because I'm missing my clam, because I've already used the one that I had, I totally forgot to share that with you. And I found my MIA Red Currant Wreath. So this one I put in my bedroom. It was in another basket. It's a long story. And this is so good. I know it's basic. I cannot say it's not, but it's appealingly basic. They have taken Dancing Sugar Plums out of our catalog. But when we had that, I felt like it's a totally different kind of scent, but it sort of fits the same profile. It's a basic scent that's homey and comforting, and people tend to overlook how appealing it really is for the long haul. So this Red Currant Wreath is similar. This has sandalwood, it's got red berries, it has probably a little bit of a tree note. It's in the spice category, and I get more of a really balanced sandalwood and red berries, kind of a Christmassy winter smell than anything. I don't know if I think I'd put it in maybe fruit or woods, but this is an excellent smell. It's comforting. It's the type that just makes your house smell good naturally. People will walk in and say, ooh, it's nice in here. And they're not necessarily going to say, ooh, you have a pine smell or ooh, you have a berry smell. It's just good. And it's not so piney or tree-y that you could only do this right around Christmas. I will melt this from here until probably January or February. It was very nice. Medium level, reasonably long-lasting performer, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so my dear friend Robin, we did a bar swap a little while ago. A little bit of drama on my end because I messed up the address, but thank God the people in her town were so heroic that she eventually got it. Like, they're good friends up there in her little town in the almost Alaska area up in Canada. Anyway, I'm very chatty today. I guess it's just a birthday thing. I'm like feeling that life is good and everything's great. She sent me a bar of Pacific Sandalwood that I believe traveled all the way from her friend that's down under, like in the New Zealand, Australia region. Pacific Sandalwood, this bar of Pacific Sandalwood, I don't know how long this thing has been curing, is the best performing Pacific Sandalwood I've ever had in my life. It was amazing. It was super strong in my bedroom for a couple of days, and because I do not have this in my club and it's hard to come by, just babied the couple of cubes that I used. It was fabulous. How you even describe this bar, I do not know. It's one of Scentsi's best. I think we need it back here in Region 1. I do not know why they won't give it to us. We only had it for an LTO, and this is another bar that needs to cure, so a lot of us kicked it out of our club prematurely. It is sandalwood, almost like a marshmallowiness. It's light, it's floaty, it's just amazing. Anyway, thank you, Robin, for swapping that with me. It was so good. So something that's similar but a little more common because we can get it and more laundry is white amber and silk. Now this last year was kind of a performance dud, but after sitting for an entire year, very strong bars now. This thing is really good and intense. So it's got the amber, it's got cotton, it has a nice cashmere type note, it's sophisticated, good for a bedroom, good for a medium-sized space, very nice. And I used up the very last 2 cubes that I own of cinnamon roasted pear in my older daughter's room last week. It was so nice. And I missed, of course, that this was in clearance for a hot minute. And I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get more because I've struggled with performance of this bar for the long haul, but it was so good in my daughter's room. So it's got some cinnamon, it's got the roasty pear quality, it has almost like a cidery, maybe like a brown sugar caramel in there, I don't know. It's a deep, gentle scent, and it's very nice. It was fabulous in her room. So good for fall. So one day I was doing a couple of cubes of vanilla bourbon, and this particular clam of vanilla bourbon almost smells coffee-ish because it's pretty intense. I'm not complaining because usually vanilla bourbon's kind of weak. This was so nice. So it's got the bourbony, oaky quality. It has the vanilla. It's so yummy. So this was in my bedroom for a couple days. It was very good. And then what I'm doing today is Jack's Obsession. But what's really funny is that this particular bar of Jack's Obsession, I wonder if it has more oil than they usually do or it's curing well. Because it almost smells a hair like Apple and Oats, which has, that's another retired bar. We've got like half a clam kicking around somewhere. This is almost bakery, which is odd because that's not how this is supposed to be. This is really good. It's just a really nice, intense green apple cider. Very nice. I know people are sad that we don't have a license with these guys this year. I don't think, unless a flash sale pops up, that we're getting any NBC this year. But that bar was just beautiful, and I'm enjoying it in my bedroom. And last but not least, my other daughter was looking desperately for her beloved cranberry pumpkin spice because I just reorganized my red hutch where I will keep most of the bars that are sort of on deck for the season. I finally took out the rest of the remnants of my summer stash, put those back downstairs, and then reorganized all the bins according to color and theme. And the cranberry pumpkin spice was just right there for her in the pumpkin bin. Oh, this is such a good bar. This is a very Yankee style scent. It has the sweet cranberry, the beautiful spices. It's almost like you took cranberries, dipped them in sugar, laid them on top of a beautiful piece of pumpkin pie, and then sprinkled more cinnamon sugar and whipped cream on it. Oh, you guys, it's so good. I love this scent. And happily, this is in my quarterly club probably for forever. and this was in her room. And I usually don't melt this out in the main spaces until October and November because it is a bar that I only get 3 of a year. But, you know, how are you going to say no to your beloved children? So this was the last thing that was an overflowing bin. And I do know one night that I was cooking fish, and so I was using my brick of coconut lemongrass, but that was just in for a couple hours to get rid of the stank that was part of the fish skin. Does that happen to you guys where the skin of the fish gets a little funky? The fish is fine. You just need to get rid of that skin as it's kind of getting too hot and frying on the bottom of your sheet pan in the oven when you roast it. So this is Elizabeth with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents, and my viewer who wants to remain nameless, thank you so much for what I consider an eternal birthday present here of this beautiful family heirloom reprint of something that she wanted to share with me. And sunflowers are my favorite flower. They just remind me to always turn my face toward heaven and know that the Lord is there and that he loves us. So thank you to all of my viewers who have been with me. It'll be 2 years in 2 years? 21 to 22. Yeah, 2 years all the way around in October that I will be a Scentsy consultant, and my journey and my time here on YouTube and the friends that I have met and all the wonderful things that have gone on. I'm so grateful that you guys are in my life, and I just thank God for every single day, and that today is another day to celebrate that I am alive and God is good. Have a good day, guys. Bye.